Hola, I once again welcome you to SOLSOFT.inc channel. Good evening. This is Saul. We are going to go deep into Adobe Illustrator, for we had promised to produce new videos, to release new videos concerning Adobe Illustrator. For we're going to look at the start, a beginner's guide. Then we got deep into the deeper cores of Adobe Illustrator. These episodes are for now for beginners. For those who would wish to learn Adobe Illustrator, we are emphasizing that please take a look at these videos. They are good, and we are going to be looking so much about Adobe Illustrator. We take a look at all the the tools that are used in Adobe Illustrator. We tend to produce the very best for those who would like to know and learn more about Adobe Illustrator. We are endeavoring to bring the very best to you. Please do not forget to subscribe and drop in your comments for more of Adobe Illustrator videos from SOLSOFT.inc channel. For the start, we shall open Adobe Illustrator CC. We are using the Creative Cloud version 2020. This is the interface at the beginning. We create a new project. This is a new file. Click on Create and New. Then we shall choose F4, but we shall choose Landscape. We shall name this My Episodes. My Illustrator, My Illustrator episodes. Okay, and this is episode 1. And here we shall be looking at specifically all the Illustrator tools, and I'm going to be describing each of them at a go. But for episode 1, we shall be dealing with the very beginning. That is, we shall be looking at the quick selection tool. Yes, we shall be looking at the quick selection tool. Okay. It is easy, as you know. We've been seeing Adobe Illustrator for the folks who've been new to Adobe Illustrator. You've been seeing how people manipulate objects, shape building, and whatsoever. For we are looking at static object. That is the concern. The Adobe Illustrator. This deals specifically with still images. Dealing with still images. We've not yet started to look at graphics designing, and that we shall also go deep into it, motion graphics, and that we shall be considering some of the basic softwares. That is, if you would like to get issues concerning with the Adobe suite, we shall be dealing with Adobe Illustrator to design some of the static images, then import them into Adobe Premiere to give them motion. Also Adobe After Effects. And we shall also see some of other Adobe suite for the new releases, like Adobe Fuse for sculpting and other softwares. So for now, we are going to go deep into Adobe Illustrator. For start, we shall look at some of the still images and how to manipulate them and how to build them at start. Then afterwards we shall give them motion in Adobe Premiere and in Adobe After Effects, as we've been following up in some of the tutorials in our YouTube channel. If you would like to if you missed some of the videos, please search into our channel, look for those videos. You'll find them. They are so elaborative and give a basic guidance and outline for all that you would need. We shall not take much of the time. For now, we shall start off with the quick selection tool. For the app, this is the interface for Adobe Illustrator, as I've seen it. We shall take a look at the left hand side. We shall see there are only two tools for now that we're going to concentrate on. We have the selection tool. It is abbreviated by letter V. If you want to access it, you just press V on your laptop, on your keyboard. You can also press hover the mouse to the quick selection of the selection tool and also click on it. There's also the down tool, the tool below the selection tool. It is called direct selection tool. That is abbreviated by A. If you wish to toggle on it or select, press A on the keyboard. To go back to the very first, press V. We are now shifting between the two selection tools, the ones we wanted to emphasize on today. Their use is as good because you cannot, most of the shapes and all the artwork is done using these two tools because they are very, very, very useful. First, we shall select the first one. That's the selection tool. It is used to select objects. As if you see, if I press on the rectangle tool and try to draw a shape, give it a color, let's assume red. As you see, we have bounding boxes as they mark the perimeters of the rectangle of the shape we've drawn, but they have also some circles at the corners. But of course, we have also squares in the extreme corners. These are the bounding boxes, corners, the points at which you can select and expand the shape. As you see, if I toggle, if I select the one amidst the right side, I can select the shape and expand it or reduce it. Also, if I select one up, I can select and expand the shape in 2 dimensions. If I want another dimension, then I can select it in the corner, choose, and then make a selection. As you see, this is an emphasized by the selection tool, that is V. Yes. If I need, I can click in the space. I just deselect the shape, then clicking in the shape, then I'm selecting the shape, moving it, then I can select, hold long press the left button key on the mouse, and then it's on into the shape, and then I can move it to any points in the in the space provided. All right, we have another tool, that is the direct selection tool, the tool below. It has a small button at the corner, the bottom corner. This shows that we have more shapes. You just click on it. We long press the mouse button to access some of other tools that are indicated within that tool. We have a group selection tool, then we have the lasso tool. These tools are specifically for selecting objects. Let's first of all click on the direct selection tool and we see what it does. If I select this shape, as you see, I can move it the same way I could move it with the selection tool. But you will notice that if I click on the direct selection tool, some of the features on this shape go away, they disappear. As you've noticed, if I click on the selection tool, we have some other circular points in the inner part of the circle with the center. But whenever I click on the direct selection tool, all go away. They tend to disappear. I mean the squares in the extreme corners. These would the ones that would allow us to expand this shape. When I click on the quick selection tool on the selection tool, I could access these corners and I could expand the shape accordingly. But when I select on the direct selection tool, I could not have access to expand this shape. So I'm grounded to expanding it. I cannot expand it anymore unless when I use the direct selection tool. Unless when I use the selection tool, sometimes called the quick selection tool. The use of the quick selection tool, you may need to reshape this shape into any other shape you would wish. Now we could click on any of this corner, then you click on it, then you drag toward the center, and then we could have something like that, this shape. Then again you can click to select it and then click on any other remaining points, right? And then you can again drag towards the center and you'll have something like this. You have a shape like that. You can see we are shaping this and we're getting another shape with the help of the quick selection tool, of the direct selection tool, of the selection tool. Quick selection tool is mostly applied in Adobe Photoshop, but here we shall just use selection tool as it is indicated. We can as well shape it again, click and shape it, reshape it back. It depends on what you want, which kind of shape you wish to get. This is thing as easy, so we tend to do that more. We shall again look at when I select the direct selection tool, I could no longer move the shape to another, I could no longer expand it, but I could again do what, have access to the shaping the shaping points. I could select, click Ctrl, I could select all of them at once, because therefore we can see we can select all of them, long press and drag. We have something like this. It is shaping the shape into another shape. We could have something like that. So it is quite interesting. As you have seen, we could have another shape, maybe an ellipse or something like that. We again get the selection tool, select it. We can resize it if you would wish. If you would also want, you could get the direct selection tool, make a different shape. This one helps us move the shape, but it does not specifically help us expand it, but the direct selection tool will help us do, yes. Alright, because we will be having access to the bounding boxes and we shall be in position to reshape it. So that happens for such shapes. We can have as many shapes as we could, depending on what you want and what your interest could be, and so on and so forth. For this is something interesting that we had for today. We are going to look at also the group. We could want to group these shapes all together, select them at once, and then right click and press group. Yes, so here we are grouping them directly. We have very many methods. First of all, if you would wish to group these shapes as you've seen them, you could select them and right click, select group. At once you've grouped them. We can start moving them at any different points. We can reshape them. Remember, we are clicking on selection tool. We can click shift and alt, then drag in the bounding boxes one of the corners, then we can shape them in any given size. We can make a duplicate, and we can see here we can have access to the bounding boxes. But when you want to have access when you want access to the bounding box, you can just click on these ones. We're going to select and ungroup them. I want to show you the use of the direct selection tool. Here I can move this shape to anywhere in a point on the grid, But when I would wish to group all of them together, I could make sure that they're intact, as we've seen. And then now the use of the grouping tool, again it's in the quick selection tool. I'll select the group selection tool, I select it, I just select all of them. Boom, they are grouped. I now have to move them at once, because now you would wish to group them using the selection tool at one point. You're just grouping them that you can move these shapes at a go. The use of this is it's something that is easy. One thing you should notice is that if I want to, these shapes are grouped. We have used the group we are grouping them at once, right? But these ones are not grouped. I can move them anywhere. But when you would wish to select them at once and move them, I could do the same thing with just selection, with just using the selection tool, or I could use the group tool. It's called the group selection tool. Here I do not select them, but I just go here, I long press and then select the group selection tool. Here I select them, as you see, then I start to move them. It is as easy as that. The lasso tool is also helpful, because if you wish to make marks, if you would wish to make marks, like if you're drawing a shape, if you would wish to use we are looking at the lasso tool. I maybe need to select all these shapes at once, as we've seen that these shapes are independent. This one had been grouped. Let's make another duplicate of these shapes. We maybe need to make different shape selections. These ones specifically for selection as usual, but we maybe need to select all the things, these shapes at once. What we do, you can click anywhere in space and mark all the shapes at once. We've selected them and we can now move them at a go. Here we are using the selection tool V, but we can do the same with the lasso tool. The lasso tool is long press on the left mouse button while selecting the direct selection tool. Then select, or you can press letter Q, or you can press select, just press on the selection on the lasso tool. Here I can draw this shape. I can draw a shape just towards the perimeters of all the shapes that I want to have in selection, then join it to the beginning point. Then you can see that all these shapes are selected. Then now I can move them at once, the same way I did with the selection tool. With the selection tool, I can click anywhere in this outside that I could not have all these shapes intact. Then I select them. As you can see, I have selected them and I can move them. Also, you can use the lasso tool to do the same. Just have to click anywhere, long press, and then drag within the perimeters of the shapes that you want to have in selection. Then join the beginning point, and then you'll have this shape selected, but it won't be having the bounding boxes at once. Then select you can move them with either the arrow keys on the keyboard, or you can use you can again click on the selection tool, and then you see that we have only these shapes selected. So meanwhile, that's what we had today for the selection tools. We have learned about selection tool. In the next tutorial, we shall be discussing more of these tools. Thanks for watching and have a good evening. Please do not forget to subscribe and drop in your comments for more SOLSOFT channel videos about my Illustrator. Have a blessed evening.